I wanted to invite Bradley to come and explain to us what is going on with Google Buzz. So Bradley, welcome.
All right, thank you.
Hearing.
The buzz on Buzz. So first of all, I am Bradley Horowitz. I'm the VP of Product Management for Google Apps. Google Apps you've probably heard of and have used, things like Gmail, Calendar, Google Docs, Picasa, Blogger. So tools for collaborating, communicating, publishing, and most recently, Google Buzz. So I assume all of you have heard of, I'm going to actually restart this here and see if we can get a better sync. This happened in practice as well. How many of you have heard of Google Buzz? Well, that's good. I'm not going to ask, but I would venture to guess most of you aren't yet using Google Buzz, or fewer hands anyways. And I'm going to walk you through Google Buzz a little bit, explain what it is. We are much, much younger and newer on the scene than any of the other social networks that you're using, or even Foursquare is a granddaddy compared to us. So we're just a toddler. But we've been launching a major feature a week, and these vary from major features like the launch of the Google Buzz API, which we did at Google I/O a couple weeks ago, to integrations with Google Maps. So there's now a Buzz layer on Google Maps, both the desktop and mobile versions. And then some of them are just kind of in-product techniques for how we collapse comments, et cetera. But the pace of innovation is great, and especially at the scale at which we're operating. So I wanted to walk you through today Google Buzz's first report card, the 100-day how are we doing report card, and reminding you that we're a toddler. So there's little Buzz there. And I'm going to read through this. It's filled with pun and innuendo. See what you can pick up. So Buzz's first days of school were rather rough. John referred to that. But he listened, learned, and is in fact now wiser for the experience. It was encouraging to see how well and thoroughly he's recovered. He's such a good listener and plays so well with others. He is extremely verbal for his age, speaking in complete, meaningful sentences, rather than the abbreviated utterances of some of his peer group. For someone so verbal, he also loves to color and illustrate his work. Buzz is extremely well-liked, and everyone is rooting for him to succeed. We're certain that Buzz has potential he's not yet realized, and suggest he'd benefit from further assistance and support from his family. So I'm going to walk through these and see which of these puns you might pick up on. So first, the launch. If you guys weren't paying attention, and I can't imagine any of you missed this, we certainly tripped up on privacy out of the gate and learned a lot in the process. And I think what is great is that we are wiser for the experience. And I think it's clear by the deafening roar from users, privacy advocates, the media, that there is a real opportunity to step up, be transparent, give users control and full disclosure as to what's going on, to not move the line over time, and just be very upfront. And so we see this as a huge market opportunity and market need, and we want to lead with Buzz and put the user first and put privacy first. What you see here is a screenshot of the Buzz component of the Google dashboard, and this is something any user can easily find, google.com/dashboard, and you can see exactly what data we have across the full suite of our products. You can edit that data, you can make meaningful, informed decisions about what data Google stores and how you want Google to handle that data. So I think we are wiser. I think you'll continue to see us get more and more attuned to the needs of the user with respect to transparency and control, and it's something that we see as a real market need and opportunity. He's such a good listener. So one of the things I'm really proud of, and I think the team has done a fantastic job on, is putting their ear to the ground and being in direct dialogue with users. This is harder for a big company like Google than it might be for a startup like Foursquare. And the team has acted like a startup. We've been in direct contact through things like user forums. What you see here is an instance of Google Moderator, which is allowing users to vote on features and vote them up and down. And a lot of the route through the many requests are informed by listening, by attuning to what the users want and delivering against that as quickly as we possibly can. Plays so well with others. So here you see kind of a bunch of acronyms and industry jargon, ADAM, Media RSS, PubSub, Hubbub, that's a mouthful. But these are all standards. And when we say play well with others, we didn't want to create another monolithic social network which makes it hard for users to own their data, to get the data in and out in ways that they would expect. And so we wanted to either use industry standards where they existed or develop standards where they didn't. And so many of the things you see here, PubSub, Hubbub, for instance, was developed by Googlers. It is not proprietary to Google, it is not owned by Google, but there are people within Google that are trying to create interoperability between these systems. You can imagine if email systems were closed and trapped and you could only email other CompuServe members. That's a lot less useful than having a protocol like SMTP, which allows for sharing of data across networks. That's what we're aiming for here. You can also see that we play well with others in the sense that Buzz is something you can connect up to your other points of presence on the web. So again, we don't intend to be a monolithic destination, but recognize that users have profiles and presences across many, many services. So here you can see my Twitter account, my blog, my Flickr account, my YouTube account, et cetera, are all linked up in Buzz, and that's done in as automatic way as possible. And then finally on the right, we launched the Buzz API a couple weeks ago and had premier launch partners like Seismic, like TweetDeck, that are looking to take the great products that they build and extend their reach and make sure that their product works well across all these platforms using the open protocols that we're championing. So he's extremely verbal for his age, speaking in complete, meaningful sentences. One of the things we wanted to do with Buzz was enable real conversation and real expression as opposed to truncated sound bites. And so within Buzz, you can have everything from a status update that is extremely terse or a more thought out, thoughtful post. And this is an example of someone named Louis Gray. I imagine you can't read that there, but he's been using Buzz as one of the primary means of communicating to his constituency, and he gets great interaction, great engagement, great comments. It's much more conversational and threaded and durable than something that's ephemeral and just kind of an update for status. Loves to color and illustrate his work. So one of the things we wanted to do with Buzz was make sure it was multimedia enabled. As opposed to just having textual updates and status, we wanted to make sure that the richness of the web was available. So full color, high resolution imagery, both images and video. Here's an example of a user, Thomas Hawk, who is a semi-pro photographer and has stunning photography that he uploads on almost a daily basis. While he uses Flickr as one means of reaching an audience, he also publishes this into his Buzz stream, and he gets an entirely different level of engagement and interaction with his users as a result of that. Buzz is extremely well liked, and everyone is rooting for him to succeed. And that's a pitch and an appeal to you guys. What we have heard in the early going with Buzz, again, we're 100 days out of the gate, is that brands and businesses have climbed onto Buzz and have asked Google, can we be a part of this? In the general kind of time frame that we're trying to compress here, generally people wait for intense, huge hundreds of millions of users, which we don't have yet on Buzz. But based on what we've heard from you guys, we want to make it extremely easy for you guys to climb onto Buzz and begin to have direct relationship with your audience or your potential audience. And so you'll see us over the coming months making it easier for that to happen. In spite of us actually not focusing on that, a number of brands have been quite successful in kind of wedging in with the existing system, but we're going to be more proactive and do a better job of making it easy for brands and businesses to get on Buzz. Finally, and this is the most intriguing one, further assistance and support from his family, and his family being Google. When you think about Buzz, I think we've done a really good job of creating a seed crystal. We have an intense usage, a base of people that are using Buzz and teaching us exactly how to navigate the product to build the right features in the right order. The company is committed to it, we're investing heavily, and we're at a pace of innovation now which is measured in about a feature a week. When you step back and think about the other assets we can bring to bear, whether it's mobile, geo, ads, search, et cetera, there's huge opportunity to create better and better tools to help users get to the content they want, to help marketers reach the audiences and users that they want as well. And that is all ahead of us. And mostly this is a reminder that Buzz is a toddler and 100 days old. We're listening and would love to be in dialogue with you all as to where you would like us to go first. So on his first report card, 100 days, Buzz gets a gold star, and we'll check back in another 100 days and see if he's realized some of this potential. I do want to briefly talk about some of what will differentiate buzz, and this is more forward-looking and directional, but these are some of the problems we see with the tools as they exist today and places where we see opportunity. We already talked about user control, transparency. I want to also talk about fragmentation. And today, there are a lot of great services like Foursquare, Twitter, Facebook, but it's difficult being a user of these services in the sense that I'm constantly hopping around. It's very, very difficult to remember to check the various inboxes I have in the web. We'd like to help solve that problem. So giving users a dashboard through which they can see all of their points of presence on the web, do it in as open a way possible so that it's not about cutting a deal with one of these individual companies, but rather using open protocols that allow all of the data to interact seamlessly. That's a problem we're very interested in. Another one is around the torrent. So when I had 50 friends on these services, it was interesting to kind of dip into the stream and pull out something good. The problem is when I have 2,000 friends on these services, it's getting very hard. This stream has become a torrent, and it's much less valuable to me. I don't know if you guys are having that experience, but as I have been rather reckless in accepting friend requests and following people that I thought were interesting in the moment, it has somewhat diminished the value of the experience. And in many ways, I see this analogous to what happened in the internet with Yahoo and Google. Yahoo started out in kind of a manual categorization mode. Manual sort of worked for quite some time, at least a matter of the first early years of the internet. And then the internet exploded, and when you had millions of sites, it became impossible to categorize them all by hand and use a directory-based approach. It became a Google scale problem where you need techniques of relevancy to bring to bear on this, to pull out what is meaningful. And I see the same thing happening in social networking. The stream, the feeds that are coming at me are undifferentiated right now, and it's very hard, increasingly hard, to find value in them. This is a related point, that the stream has become polluted. From that stream now, there is everything from updates from a kindergarten friend who I friended because it was cool to connect with somebody from my distant past, but now I'm seeing that he had this for breakfast, and it's not what I need to be seeing, that my stream is polluted. There's great stuff in there, but we need to help it reach the right users at the right moment and not just be an undifferentiated mass. So with that, I don't do business cards. I'm going to put my email address up there. If you're intrigued by any of this, you're welcome to email me. We also have a couple other Googlers, Nooglers as we call them, Omar coming up, and Susan Wojcicki and Dennis Woodside are going to be speaking tomorrow to John as well. So with that, thank you.
Bradley, let me ask you a couple questions if
Sure.
I can. I have a couple questions for Bradley. Number one, as I understand it, and I'm not a big Gmail user, and that may be the gate to why I'm not using Buzz at the moment, but I would use Buzz if I could import my Facebook friends. How come I can't?
We're open to that. I want to use standards that are accepted on the web. So to the degree that Facebook...
Come on, Facebook, everybody uses Facebook for...
If somebody from Facebook is here, then we'd be open to having that conversation.
Oh,
truly.
God.
No, truly.
You're telling me it's not because you guys are basically doing...
We have no allergy to that. We have no principled allergy to importing all the user's content.
Tweet that.
Others may. I can't speak for others.
Ah, okay. Thank you. I got what I needed out of that. Last question. Number of folks, can you speak to kind of that 100-day report card on 0 users to where we are now?
I'm not going to give you a number. As a measure of the...
Can you tell me the quantity?
You're going to have to try harder. I think you pointed out what you said at the beginning, that right now you're not a Gmail user, and that makes it hard to find Buzz and use Buzz. That's a pretty high bar to ask a user who's happy with Hotmail or Yahoo Mail to kind of convert into Gmail in order to use Buzz. We didn't expect that to happen, and we were right. So right now, I think of it as a seed crystal. We took an engaged audience, people that love Gmail, love it passionately, and use it intensely. And so the idea there was to get enough of a connected base that we could begin learning as we are right now. And
then might you sort of put modules around that for other...
Yeah, I think that ultimately we will not be successful trapped inside of Gmail. And it is the intention, I mentioned this at launch, that breaking Buzz out of Gmail is a longer-term goal for us, and we'll definitely do that.
Will you come back and give us another report card?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks.